Remember when I did a video yesterday about the Capitol Hill? I think Mr. Byrd. Like I can't think of the first name on top of my head right now. Yeah, this one's it's gonna call, but Capitol Hill cop speaks about the death threat. He was getting death threats. And I did the video about this guy. Who shot and killed Ashley Babbitt. But he said he spoke up about that, and then we're gonna do another take on this one as well. This I did it on NBC News yesterday. This is for Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Let's get to the video.
The Capitol police officer who shot and killed Ashley Babbitt describes what really went down. He said, and I quote at one point, they talked about...
Oh, he's breaking down for when he was interviewing Lester Holt.
Thursday, as part of a new interview revealing himself to the public, Capitol police officer, he's a lieutenant, by the way, Michael Byrd,
that's what it is.
Responsible for shooting insurrectionist Ashley Babbitt, opened up about the hate and threats he received from far-right activists who guessed.
Yeah, and most of the people who give him death threats in his life were the pro-Trump
been
supporters.
Floating around on social media for a while, and this was exposed by other far-right extremists. This is now confirmed that he is the guy.
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, and some of the people are probably getting this guy, Mr. Michael Byrd, death threats, was the right activists, the pro-Trump supporters, the Antifa, and the Proud Boys as well. Well, one of the leader Proud Boys, he's in jail for 150 days now. Let's continue.
Ashley Babbitt.
Yeah, Ashley Babbitt.
Shot while trying to crawl.
She tried to go through the window
and try to breach it window at the Capitol after ignoring police demands to stop.
Ashley Babbitt was a hardcore pro-Trump supporter
of right-wing extremists. Her cause has even trickled into mainstream GOP politics. Paul Gosar, Republican out of Arizona, wearing an armband with her name, and President Donald Trump saying that she was in fact murdered. Let me go to the video of this lieutenant.
Ashley Babbitt wasn't shot. She slowly died. She bled out.
He is in danger. His life is in danger. Here's what he said.
Your name has been battered about on the
this is a replay from when Lester Holt interviewed him. I did the whole interview on that. That's on my show right now. This is just a breakdown.
My name is Michael Byrd. I'm a lieutenant for the United States Capitol Police.
For months, he has lived in hiding, he says, over this moment. His decision to use deadly force against a rioter as she climbed through a barricaded door that leads to the House chamber. In the months since, he's been the target of threats. Can you give us the nature of some of those threats?
They talked about, killing me, cutting off my head, very vicious and cruel things.
Racist things?
There were some racist attacks as well. That's all disheartening because I know I was doing my job.
Given the nature of the threats that you described,
I was doing his job that we paid
showing your face and identifying yourself?
Of course I do. That is a very vital point, and it's something that is frightening. I believe I showed the utmost courage on January 6th, and it's time for me to do that.
And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I probably can get some flack and probably some heat on this, but in my mind, this guy, Michael Byrd, is a fucking hero in my book. He's a hero. And people want to talk about killing him, lynching like that. In my book, this lieutenant, Michael Byrd, is a hero. And what he did was justified.
That now.
Responsible that day for securing the House chambers, Byrd couldn't see what Americans were witnessing on their TVs.
Now, I want to remind you, during this time, they literally took furniture in order to barricade themselves inside of this building.
Oh, yeah, they took chairs and some tables. I think even some flags
inside of that room, okay? He heard what was happening on his police device, and there also came over the speaker, the device he had, that shots were fired. Well, shots were not fired. It was said, but it did not happen. It was a mistake. He heard all of the screaming. He heard the Capitol Police retreating, and he was trying to protect between 60 to 80 individuals that included members of Congress and staff. Here's more of the video.
Were you afraid that day?
I was very afraid.
What are you hearing on your radio?
I'm hearing about the breaches of different barricaded areas, officers being overrun, officers being down.
Did you ever hear a call or a report of shots fired during any of this?
As a matter of fact, I did. There was reports of shots fired through the house main door onto the floor of the chamber.
Later, those reports would prove to be false. This video captures Byrd instructing members of Congress to don gas masks.
We had a disbursement of tear gas in the rotunda. Please be advised there are masks under your seats.
Because I remember he thought the people were going to try to breach that door and get to the House chamber.
Dead. But Miss Babbitt was, in fact, breaking the law. She was an insurrectionist.
Yep.
And she committed, in my opinion, an act of domestic terrorism. The truth is,
she was criminally trespassing.
Would have been Black Lives Matter, if this would have been a group with the last name Muhammad, religious ties to Islam,
king,
they would have all been dead. Would have been dead bodies all across that lawn and inside of that building. They were given the benefit of the doubt in a significant way, and they were given protection that they should not have received, but they did. Here's more.
Former President Trump has talked about you and this incident. He says she was murdered. What does it feel like to hear that from a former president?
Well, it's disheartening. If he was in the room or anywhere and I'm responsible for him, I was prepared to do the same thing for him and his family.
Would you have his back today if you were so assigned?
I sure would, because it's my job.
All right, now I want to remind you that the individuals who are coming against him, threatening him, they are saying that they are still pro-police. Now, they are anti-Capitol Police because the Capitol Police officers do not fit their ideological narrative. Quite hypocritical. But it's clear.
Now, I remember that some of the people in there, rioting like they're on the steps of the Capitol, they had back the blue lines matter signs well. But they want to attack the police in the Capitol?
Related but unrelated. A group of 7 Capitol police officers filed a lawsuit on Thursday accusing former President Donald J. Trump and nearly 20 members of far-right extremist groups and political organizations of a plot to disrupt the peaceful transition of power during the Capitol riot on January 6th. The suit, which implicated members of the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers militia, and Trump associates Roger J. Stone Jr., was arguably the most expensive civil effort to date, seeking to hold Trump and his allies legally accountable for storming the Capitol. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, he's come out. It's public. He's done the interview. I'm sure more is going to come out. Dina Dahl, what are your thoughts here, legally?
Well, first, I just want to say what a hero he was and what a sense of duty and honor that he would say he would still defend Donald Trump. And it's those types of public servants that, we just have to be so grateful for. And in terms of legally, the Capitol Police who are suing him, there's actually quite a few lawsuits going on. Members of Congress are also suing him under these same things, and they're going to have subpoena power. They're going to be able to maybe get some of the details that we weren't able to see in the impeachment hearing. And the one defense, though, that Donald Trump has already asserted is his presidential immunity, saying that what he did that day was part of his official conduct. The Supreme Court has said that any official conduct by a president is immune and not subject to civil liability unless it's criminal. So that issue may go all the way to the Supreme Court. Under the current Supreme Court, and may not go the way to the Capitol Police officers. So we will see. I've actually written an article on this describing all the different types of presidential immunity. I'll put it up on my Twitter in case your audience wants to see it, because it sounds complicated, but it's actually quite simple. But that's going to be the issue that's going to determine these cases.
Can we just call it like it is? I know we like to say things like nobody's above the law. Well, that's a damn lie. Literally in writing, in policy, and also based on DOJ memorandum. The president of the United States, in many ways, is above the law, right?
True. And in some ways we want them to be. Like, let's say that there's a bill that's passed, right? Saying, a food bill, restricting maybe the amount of food that subsidies are going to be given. And as a result of that, somebody in the country doesn't have enough food and has some sort of malnourishment. We don't want the president to get sued as a result of that, right? That is part of their official conduct. But the problem is when the president wants to broaden this. This is not only coming up in this case, it's also coming up in the defamation case with Jean Carroll, and the Biden administration seems to be kind of supporting it because this kind of crosses party lines, right? Every party becomes president at one point, and once they are in that office, they want the umbrella to protect them as much as possible. So, but that day, January 6th, we all see what happened. We do not ever want a president to be able to incite and encourage and participate in an insurrection like this. So how that presidential immunity is decided is going to have very big ramifications.
Very well said. And obviously it will have precedent beyond.
Yeah, like I said, I remember after when the riot things happened like that, Trump went on Twitter and says, "You're all special people. You're all very, unique, one of a kind. It's time for you to go home." After all the riots like that. And he's sitting there saying, former President Trump is sitting there saying, Ashley Babbitt was murdered? No. She wasn't murdered. She was trespassing. She was at mischief, destruction like that. She died slowly. She wasn't shot and instantly died. She bled out a couple hours. They transmitted her, but she ultimately succumbed and died for excessive bleeding like that. And Michael Byrd, in my book, is a hero. And with that said, I'm out of here, Mike Job. Peace out. Much love and respect.